Did you know that Article 9 of the Treaty of Paris turned Puerto Rico into the property of the U.S. Congress? Let's break down how it happened. Article 9 established three key points: civil rights and political status. The civil rights and political status of Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines would be determined by the U.S. Congress, meaning Congress had complete discretion over whether Puerto Ricans, Filipinos, and Guamanians would ever receive U.S. citizenship, voting rights, or self-government. Religion and property rights. The article promised freedom of religion, since Spain had been a Catholic empire. This reassured the people that Catholic practice would remain protected under U.S. sovereignty. Spanish citizens in ceded territories. Spanish citizens living in these territories could stay or leave. If they stayed, they had 1 year to declare whether they'd keep Spanish citizenship or adopt U.S. nationality. If they said nothing, they'd automatically be considered U.S. nationals. The root? Dred Scott v. Sanford, 1857. But here's the shocking part. That last line, Congress determining civil rights and political status, came directly from the 1857 Dred Scott v. Sanford case. The Supreme Court had ruled that since Dred Scott was property, only his master could decide his rights and political condition. In 1898, that logic was recycled. Congress became the master, and Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines became the property. The impact on Puerto Rico, the consequences were immediate and long-lasting. Congressional control. In the insular cases, 1901, the Supreme Court declared Puerto Rico an unincorporated territory. The Constitution didn't fully apply unless Congress extended it. Puerto Ricans were colonial subjects, not equals. Delayed citizenship. Congress waited nearly 20 years to grant statutory U.S. citizenship through the Jones-Joffroth Act of 1917. Religious freedom. The treaty reassured Catholics on the island that their faith would remain protected. Spanish residents. Many Spaniards chose to stay in Puerto Rico, keeping influence and land, and became part of the new colonial elite. Foraker and the racial ideology. In 1900, Senator Joseph B. Foraker said the Founding Fathers never meant to extend the Constitution to what he called inferior races. He described Puerto Ricans as a mixture of Spaniards, Indians, blacks, mulattoes, and mestizos, and in his view, such a people could never be equals. That racist mindset justified keeping Puerto Rico outside the Constitution, a colonial status that still exists today. The census and Puerto Rico's reality, the numbers prove it. In 1867, Puerto Rico had 346,437 whites and 309,891 people of color, morenos, mulattos, mestizos. Only 10% were slaves, about 30,000. That means 90% of people of color were already free. By 1873, when slavery was abolished, those 30,000 were the last registered slaves. Puerto Rico was already a mixed-majority free society before being handed over under Article 9. The signing of the treaty, Spanish representatives didn't want to sign the Treaty of Paris, especially because of Article 9. But they were ordered to let Jules Cambon, the French ambassador in Washington, sign for them. Spain preferred to keep fighting rather than consign Puerto Ricans to a clause that made them subjects of Congress. The hidden possibility? Here's what many people don't realize. Because Article 9 never incorporated Puerto Rico into the Union, the island remains at the mercy of Congress. This means Congress holds plenary power, total authority to decide Puerto Rico's future. Congress could grant independence, statehood, or even negotiate a return of sovereignty to Spain. If the Puerto Rican people in Madrid agreed, legally, reunification with Spain is possible. But politically, it remains blocked because only Congress has the power to release Puerto Rico. Conclusion. So did you know? Article IX wasn't just legal text, it was the chain of colonial power. Congress became the master, Puerto Rico, the servant. And that is why, 125 years later, the U.S. Constitution has never been extended to Puerto Rico, and why, even today, Puerto Rico's future, including the possibility of reunification with Spain, lies entirely in the hands of Congress. Puerto Rico, open your eyes. Subscribe, like, share, and press the notification button for more content. See you soon.